Let me bring in the president of the NAACP, Derek Johnson. Derek, good to have you here on this important time, because the conversation again is once again rising up, and inside the White House there's a belief that the president's message, which they say is law and order, is an issue that works for President Trump. Conversely, you have the New York Times quoting the former DNC chairman, Terry McAuliffe, admitting it's prompting a lot of hand-wringing by Democrats. They are worried it could actually work for the president. Do you think it helps him?
Well, the fact that he's looking at what worked for him as opposed to what will work for that community that's still healing as a result of the incident that happened a few days ago. We need a president to step up and be presidential, but unfortunately, I don't think he can. This is not about his reelection. This is about healing a community in Kenosha. This is about healing a nation that has been ripped apart because of his actions of creating more tribalism over the last 3.5 years.
We heard from the family, as we have heard from the families of victims in the past, asking for calm. Are you concerned that the president's visit to Wisconsin is going to stoke more tensions?
Absolutely. He would say in his statements he's going there to try to help heal, but actually he's going there and he is the problem. He has been the problem, as we've seen over the last 3.5 years. That's why it's important for African Americans to get prepared now to vote like we've never voted before. Our lives truly do depend on it. We're looking at a health pandemic. Coronavirus is the real issue here. He's doing things to distract from the fact that we have a national pandemic that has gripped this nation, and we still lack a federal response. In fact, on yesterday, I was on a call with parents from across the country who are concerned with their kids returning to schools, and this administration have yet to put forth an effort to make sure our teachers are safe, our young people are safe, and those young people who go to school, they don't bring back viruses to their home. That's why we joined with groups in Florida to successfully file a lawsuit to stop the governor from forcing parents and schools to reopen.
Yeah, definitely a move away from the conversation. At his press conference last night, he mentioned coronavirus at the top, but then the rest of it was all about this. And less than 24 hours ago, the president made his first comments on Kyle Rittenhouse, who, as you know, is the 17-year-old charged with fatally shooting 2 protesters in Kenosha. Here's part of what he said.
Are you going to condemn the actions of vigilantes like Kyle Rittenhouse?
We're looking at all of it. That was an interesting situation. You saw the same tape as I saw, and he was trying to get away from them, I guess, it looks like, and he fell, and then they very violently attacked him, and it was something that we're looking at right now, and it's under investigation, but I guess he was in very big trouble. He would have been. He probably would have been killed. But it's under investigation.
The president, Derek, calls that an interesting situation. How do you see it?
It's an unfortunate situation in that here's a young man who crossed state lines with an assault rifle, which was illegal for him to do so because he's following this president. Here's a young man who was on social media platforms because Facebook and others refuse to address the rise in racial hate on their platform. We are in the midst of a sea change in this nation. We must decide, are we going to move forward to the future after this election and make sure civility is restored and the safety of all of our communities are in place? Or are we going to go back to the future, go back to the past where tribalism, racial division, and racial hatred is the norm and allowed by our elected officials? I elect, along with members across this country, along with all of the peaceful protesters in the nation, we want to move to the future. We need to talk about what is the new narrative. How do we build civility? How do we create a governance that's representative of all of us and not allow demagogues to create this type of division? We got to vote. I go back to that. We got to move from protest to voting at the ballot box, and then from voting at the ballot box to public policy to address systemic racism, but most importantly, to hold accountable law enforcement officers and agencies that continue to operate above the law in African-American communities.
Yeah, and to your point that we are at this critical point in the conversation, I want to ask you about the moment we saw yesterday at the University of Alabama, where the head coach, Nick Saban, led his players in a march for social justice. He is arguably one of, if not the most powerful person, the most influential person in Alabama. What did you think when you saw that moment?
Well, it's powerful, but you think about this moment. Because of bad governance and bad policies, we have disrupted basic American things we enjoy: football, basketball. Kids returning to schools. My daughter is a freshman in college, and her experience has been disrupted because the lack of skill, ability, and care from this administration to ensure that the normalcy of life is intact. We are looking at perhaps the worst president in the history of this nation. He cares for nothing other than himself. Our economic system is almost in collapse. We're looking at a healthcare delivery system that's overwhelmed. The public health experts are saying that we are rushing to do something. Therefore, we probably have about 300,000 people to die from this coronavirus. Racial strife across the country. We must vote in November to right-size what we are looking at now. I commend Nick Saban. I commend the NBA basketball players. I commend the WNBA basketball players and everyone else to begin to stand up to address this moment. We need more leaders to stand up and push back against the demagogues that we are seeing coming from the White House.
Derek Johnson, always good to have you on the program. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.